Are you addicted to modern age drugs? And it's not what you think. Anti-smoking campaigns are nothing unusual these days, and even children know that smoking is bad for their health, kills and causes cancer. Alcohol is well known to be dangerous. Narcotics are generally considered to be a bad thing. Also, people know what sexaholics, gambling or addiction to antidepressants are. In Iceland, for example, which tops the rankings, as many as 10% of the people take antidepressants on a daily basis. But the above substances are, due to the danger involved, subject to control. They are controlled by social awareness and or by legal restrictions. There are, however, certain substances and practices which have become so popular that they are invisible, and they are part and parcel of the lives and societies, cultures and businesses. They are legally permitted and regularly promoted, and most people could not do without them. They are the addictions of the 21st century. If interested, stay tuned. I'm Dr. Matt, and welcome to my channel. Let's see if you're addicted. Business. Do you find it difficult to slow down or to say no to new duties? Do you automatically check your email on your smartphone or go online even though you don't really need it whenever you have a moment to spare? Do you find it difficult to have a meal without watching television as you eat, or to go to the toilet without a newspaper? If yes, consider the being busy or busyness syndrome. In a time defined by success, having free time has come to be seen as a sign of laziness, and workaholism has become a virtue. The people of the 21st century are surrounded by busyness. Banking systems work 24 hours a day. Shops are open all the time. Big cities not go to sleep. And the word productivity has become synonymous with a sense of value. The ability to control everything, to avoid a sense of guilt caused by doing nothing. The false satisfaction with the very fact of taking an action instead of optimization, which is more effective than maximalization, plus the never-ending story of having more or better things, all these are the hallmarks of today's society. Getting addicted to the fear that you're not good enough out of the race to success has become to be a normal part of the life of Western cultures and prevents people from experiencing happiness. Beneath this busyness are hidden demons of modern society, such as fear of boredom, fear of being an average person, difficulty experiencing deep moments with your family or friends, pangs of conscience caused by lack of contact with your own children, or having a hard time if you're not successful all the time. In the United States, there is more and more talk of ATBS, or addicted to business system syndrome, which is a sign of defense against toxic success. Popularity. Fostering the narcissistic culture of selfies, building your sense of value based on the number of Facebook likes, or inviting people to be your Facebook friends although you know nothing about them, have all produced a new addiction, namely addiction to popularity. What used to be reserved for the powerful people of this world, and after some time for the famous ones as well, is now available to the average man in the streets with the speed of virals. Brands today are not necessarily physical products. The future of marketing is personal branding, which means that people see themselves as products and build the right stories about themselves. The world of hashtags and likes, regular visits online to check and monitor is taking, especially young people, from the world of having lunch or dinner with your family to the world of photographs of the world's best roast meat dish. From a walk in a park to the spiritual contemplation of nature, from a morning cup of coffee as a wake-up call to building deep relations with a cup of black coffee. In the past, that is what advertising did. Today, that is what the members of online communities do. According to Goffman's theory of impression management, people use the right strategies to prevent themselves in the best possible lights. This is the place for the best thoughts or the best activity, the most beautiful smile, the funniest joke or the toughest comments, and the largest number of likes. This is the arena of the ideal I, or the picture of yourself that you would like more or less. Fame has never been before as easily available as it is today, and the illusion of control has never before been so powerful as it is nowadays. In the virtual world, you can become anyone you want. In the real world, however, these things are much more difficult. The internet. The virtual world increasingly replaces the real world. According to World Internet Project, the Canadians top the list with their 43.5 hours monthly, ahead of the Americans by 8 hours. While the internet is useful at work for entertainment or communication, no one today would dare to deny the fact that too much of it leads to negative consequences. The internet addiction takes different forms: cybersex, cyber relationships, online compulsions, gambling, online games, stock market speculation, information overloads, or computer games. The symptoms of addiction to the internet can include loss of a sense of time, isolation from the outside world, feeling guilty because of using too much of the web, a state of euphoria that comes with the use of the web, avoiding more difficult emotions and escaping to the virtual world from these emotions. If you look at the following statistics, you will find them depressing. 2 hours a day wasted online means 14 hours wasted a week. 14 hours is practically one day because you still have to sleep 6 or 8 hours, you need to eat, you need to go to the toilet and so on. So it is over 4 days a week lost online, and because we have 52 weeks, it's 52 days lost and spent online doing nothing effective a year. If you even go further with your calculations, you will find that you lose 1 year of life in the real world for every 7 years. Given the fact that it's only a matter of time before every person will have guaranteed access to the internet and will not be able to do without it, it is very likely that we will connect various items or objects to the web, so-called Internet of Things. And using mobile devices will no longer be normal, but will become a necessity, while the addiction to the internet will be transformed from a troublesome phenomenon into a new way of living. Another addiction: do you gossip? In The Science of Gossip, Why We Can't Stop Ourselves, in Scientific American 2008, Frank McKendry describes the social aspects of gossiping: strengthening a sense of group morality, exchanging information, sharing values of interests. Gossiping is a form of intra-group defense against other people's intolerable views and behaviors, a way to avoid boredom and satisfy your curiosity by discovering the limits. Gossip is also defined as strengthening one person at the expense of others by Hafen, and a form of attack by Peter Vida. At work, it is often motivated by the willingness to adopt to the prevailing corporate culture and to achieve a higher status or to build a network of influence. It may lead to reduced productivity and the loss of time, distortion of information, and changes of the facts. It may result in less trust and confidence in those who gossip and in those who are gossiped about losing their motivation, as well as in hurt feelings and damaged reputation. The Daily Mail has published the results of a survey, First Cape, showing that women in the UK spend as many as 5 hours a day gossiping. They gossip mostly about the problems of other people, about who is going out with who, and about other people's children. These are followed by sex, shopping, and soap opera stories. Another survey by Dunbar in Human Nature, Dr. Robin Dunbar, claims that 65% of a person's daily speech is gossiping. Can you imagine that? And although gossiping is thought as trivial and superficial, it has evolved as a linguistic concept or tool for managing your social world, and without it, communication based on facts alone would be of an encyclopedic nature and unattractive to your interlocutor. The culture celebration trend, which leads to situations where the brain, stimulated by the media, tends to see famous singers or actors rather than its own family members, additionally reinforces the institution of gossiping. It is difficult to imagine a corporation without this form of building relations and groups of friends gossiping about their adversaries. Eating. In the United States, more than 70 million people are addicted to eating. By David Kessler, Federal Drug Administration. Research involving animals shows that narcotics stimulate the same parts of the brain with respect to rewarding as eating does. Approximately 50% of obese people, 30% of those overweight, and 20% of those eating a healthy diet are addicted to a particular kind of food. A combination of foods or the specific qualities of food. Can you imagine that? Approximately 400,000 deaths are directly linked with excessive weight, and the costs of treatment or absence from work in 2000 alone amounted to 117 billion US dollars. By Thompson from Handbook of Eating Disorders and Obesity. Sugar is a toxic substance and a #1 cause of fatty liver disease. In Europe, the costs of treating obesity in adults accounts for as much as 65% of all healthcare spending. The results of a recent multi-center nationwide study of the Polish population's health show that 20% of Poles are obese, mainly as a result of not getting enough exercise and eating too much fat. Excess weight affects 9.7% of 13-year-old boys and 3.9% of the girls of the same age. For many people, eating has become an ineffective way to escape from their emotional problems, which has resulted in disorders such as anorexia or bulimia spreading. The addiction to eating, to a large extent, is caused by the prevailing social trends in the increasing consumption of everything. When in 1998, on the Fiji Islands, where women traditionally had no complexes about their bodies, television stations started to show US films, like for instance Beverly Hills 1910, then 3 years later 73% of the same women said that they were fat. Watching television 3 to 4 times a week, 30% of the women decided to go on a diet. This shows something very important, that the addiction to eating is now accompanied by an addiction to looking attractive. In the case of man, this may lead to bigorexia and addiction to bodybuilding. Shopping. While economic indicators grow as more money is spent, psychiatrists wonder whether to classify compulsive shopping as a disease. In a culture where to have means to be, and where your sense of value is defined by your wealth and serves to stand out among other people, shopping is no longer about satisfying your actual needs. Oniomania, derived from the Greek word onios, which means for sale, the technical terms for the compulsive desire to shop, applies mainly to those countries where wealth is normal and ambition is the fundamental incentive. Some people shop for themselves. Others compulsively buy presents or gifts for other people to feel accepted or loved. There are also people who are always in pursuit of bargains, or people who are brand slaves. There is even a special term for people who buy something only to return it soon afterwards, returnaholics. There are also differences between men and women. The latter tend to buy more in terms of quantity, while the former tend to spend more money. Different studies show that this addiction affects 6% of the population by Stanford in 2006, or 9% of population, a research by University of Virginia. 52% of the women in the UK say that they prefer shopping to sex, and 20% of German women feel a constant need to buy things. The shopping addiction results in people running into debt, lying to their partners, and spending less time at home. The solution could be the so-called voluntary simplicity culture, which involves living a life based on your natural needs and against the extreme consumerism. Living a life like this, you ask yourself whether buying the thing you are just about to buy will help you grow spiritually, and whether you actually need that thing to satisfy a real need, and whether you will now run into debt as a result. It is an alternative way to build your relations with money. Not only does it allow you to save money, but it also gives more free time in your life and helps you define yourself in a way other than by your wealth. Television. The addiction to television is particularly popular. as an average person of 13 years of a person's life is spent watching TV. While there is no question that television is valuable in terms of education and entertainment, you should stop to think about yourself if you find that television has replaced your family life and that you can't spend an evening without your TV on. It is also alarming if watching television is the only way you can spend your free time, or you can't relax without television when on holiday, and if the fact of not watching your favorite program is emotionally exaggerated. A survey by Kaiser Family Foundation, 0 to 6, electronic media in the lives of infants, toddlers and preschoolers, showed that 80% of children watch television or play computer games, and that 77% of them turn on the TV or their computers on their own. 65% of children lives in homes where the TV is on at least for half a day, and 36% live in homes where it is on all the time. So children read less, down by 9%, and they're more aggressive. 59% of the parents say their children copy aggressive behavior. As many as 30% of 2-year-old children have TVs in their bedrooms. There is a direct correlation between watching television and obesity. The number of TV commercials advertising junk food on Saturday mornings is 202 over a period of 4 hours. The TV statistics survey carried out by TV Free America. Dr. Dimitri Christiakis of the University of Washington notes that children aged 7 have increased concentration difficulties if they watch TV before the age of 3. It has been proved that there is a correlation between watching television and increased aggression and antisocial behavior among children by Scientific Advisory Report on Television and Social Behavior. Given the growing popularity of TV reality shows, it can be concluded that the addiction to television may, in extreme cases, lead to a situation where the reality is substituted with TV programs and where real life is replaced with the TV screen. The best summary of all the above information can be famous words once said by Paracelsus, the father of modern medicine: dosis facit venenum. All things are poison and nothing is without poison. Only the dose makes a thing, not a poison. Good luck to all my viewers and subscribers in your search of temperance in all you do. Interesting, right? If this is the case, I'll ask you to like this material if you find it useful. Share it with others. If you know someone who could benefit from it, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and visit my blog to get more about information on mixed mental arts, the discipline that I created. Thank you very much, and see you the next time.